Alright, so this is Basket Weave 2.0 because my previous video, the music in the background was apparently very high. I didn't think it was at first, but then I watched the video and it was pretty bad. So first, I'm going to create my border with my wing dividers, also known as a compass or, can't remember what else they're called. And we're just going to go around, give ourselves a nice border. And this lets you stitch around here because this is going to be a gusseted pocket. Lets you stitch around the edge without having your stitching in the basket weave, which in my opinion looks ugly. So we've got our leather cased. Gonna take our quilting ruler, and I like to go from corner to corner and scribe a line. Our line is now scribed, and this is cased. It's still pretty wet, which is fine for basket weave because you're not really, it's not going to matter so much on this piece. If I was leaving it all natural, then yeah, it wouldn't matter. This is my Clay Miller basket weave stamp, which I really love. If I seem all shaky and stuff today, it's because I had surgery a bit back and am not coping very well with the pain. But I'm bored as shit, so I have to do something. If I don't do something, I'm gonna go mad. So we're gonna start down here in this bottom corner, and we're gonna put our stamp right on that line. Find it with that edge and kind of roll it in, and then there's your first stamp. Now go to the opposite side. If you watch, gonna put it in that line, and the edge of the stamp should barely touch this vertical or this horizontal line right here. It shouldn't actually touch it. It should be a hair's breadth away from it, and that make sure that you're not walking all over the stamps. You're not walking them over each other because it doesn't look right when you do that. So let's go ahead and do this line. And this line is super important. If you get off on this line, the whole piece is going to be off. Basket weave is one of the most difficult things to learn how to do right. You're going to go at it for 5, 6, 10, 30, 50 times, and it's going to look a little bit off and a little bit off each time. And then you'll have that one time that all of a sudden everything looks perfect, and you'll have it down. Like everything, practice, 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 and then yet more practice. If you don't practice, you won't get good. And that's true of everything. Driving, riding a bicycle, leather work. Like for me, my weakness is gussets. I hate gussets. I really do. In an ideal world, nobody would have ever come up with the idea of gussets, and they would just be in the trash, but they're necessary. Like on this pocket, which is gonna make me angry probably. And you'll see right here, I kind of tilted that tool so that it did not go over our scribe line. Up here, we're just gonna give it a little bit of a tap. Try not to go past your scribe at all. You just want that little tip right there. That way you can line everything up. And down here we're going to do the same thing. Just give us that little tip so we can line it up. Now that you've got your middle line done, You can go ahead and do one side at a time, and this way you can turn the leather to where you're always looking at the back of the tool and can keep it lined up. At least you can if you're doing a small piece. If you're doing something huge like a fender for a saddle, then you're probably going to have to do it one way and not move it too much. This is going to go on a backpack that I'm making because I need to do something. Normally I'd be using a much bigger maul for this, but I am not, by order of the old lady, I am not allowed in the shop. So they brought some tools over for me, the tools that they deemed and that I deemed I could use without too much pain and too much exertion. And I can't walk over to the shop. What if I could, but it fucking hurts. Oops. Right now I am laying on the couch in my living room. I've got a chair and my portable piece of marble or granite or whatever this is. I really like this piece. It's got little copper flecks in it and it's really pretty. Hope I don't break it. But I put this on a dining room chair so it's at the right height because I can't sit down. All my other tooling videos, you know, I'm sitting in my shop. I'm actually sitting cross-legged on this big chair that I made because I like to sit cross-legged whenever I'm tooling or doing something time intensive. I find it more comfortable. I actually went to Hobby Lobby and got one of their drafting stools and took the seat in the back off of it, took the little nuts out of the seat, made myself a 2-foot by 24 inch by 20 inch square platform that has like 10 inches of foam crushed down to about 2 inches, and put that onto the rolling base for the drafting chair or drafting stool so I can sit cross-legged. Amber thought that was the funniest thing ever. Made this huge platform for me to sit on. When she saw it, she said, "Your butt's not that big." And I said, "Yeah, but my legs are." "What do you mean? Jump on it cross-legged?" "Oh, are you kidding me?" think I'm gonna add whenever I redo my website, I'm gonna add a section for instruction where you'll be able to go and buy all the patterns that I make. For example, this is going to be a backpack, you know. I'll scan that pattern in and make it printable to where, you know, you print it on 8 by 11 sheets of paper and just put it together. And I think I'll probably end up starting to sell those, and especially, you know, my holster patterns for, say, a government 1911, a 1911 with a rail on it, a Glock 19. Cool thing about Glocks, by the way, for their holsters, a Glock 17 will, you buy the blue gun for a Glock 17 and you can do most Glock models with it. You can do everything except for the 45s and the 40, you know, the Glock 21, all the 45 calibers because the slide's wider, and the model 42 and 43 because, you know, they're tiny. And then on those, the 42 and the 43, don't buy a blue gun for both of them because you just need the 43. If you have the 43, you make the pattern for the 43 and form it for the 43, and the 42 will fit. It'll fit pretty much perfectly, maybe a hair loose. But if you buy it for the 42 and try to shove the 43 in it, it will be a bit tight. And a semi-loose holster will you know, when the gun's semi-loose in it, whenever it's not on the belt, it will tighten up a lot whenever you put it on the belt. So here I'm using this real leather border tool. It's a D436. I don't think Tandy makes one that matches it. And this is like my border tool. I've got a bunch of other ones, but I like this one the best. So we get down here, since this is one continuous line, get down here to almost the middle of the bottom. Don't go to the middle of the bottom, offset it, and then come from this other side. And this is just in case your border tools don't line up perfectly, which most of the time they won't. You overlay your border off center somewhere, because people look into the corners and look in the center. They notice stuff that's in the corners and in the center more than they do if it's off to the side a little bit. The eye kind of skates past it that way. I mean, you'll see it, but your customers won't. See how it's gonna overlap just a bit right there. It's not super noticeable though. And if you see like this gold fuzz in the frame, that's my hair. Now, same thing here. Come over 3 or 4 from that corner, and then from this corner, just walk them over. Corners are one of my biggest pet peeves. If the corner's not clean, I'm not happy. And there, basket weave done on this pocket. This is going to be a pocket on the side of the backpack. You know, throw your phone, your cigarettes, your snuff, whatever in. Well, I hope you enjoyed that basket weave video. I'm gonna probably take the other one down. Had a lot of people say that it was the music was too loud, and I probably ought to not have my music going whenever I'm doing these anyways. Alrighty, there you go.